This is Mr. Mark, and I'd like to talk about improvising, specifically on the piano, or improvising in general. Now, one reason why a lot of people have so much difficulty with learning improvisation, specifically jazz improvisation, is because there's so many different things being thrown at them, right? So typically, you have people telling, well, you've got to learn all these different modes, right? Which are taking scales and playing them from all these different degrees, right? So, 12 keys, all these different scales, right? All these different chords, okay? But the thing is to start simple, right? What you want to do is start simple and realize that you're not trying to play everything that exists, right? So if you're looking at playing jazz, you're not trying to play or improvise on every single tune that has ever existed in the name of jazz today, right? So you want to start simple. And so my approach to start off is that you, first of all, yes, you do need to know your chords and you do need to know scales, but there's such a thing as learning gradually, right? And not trying to do everything at once. So one very important progression that comes up a lot in jazz is a 2-5-1 progression. Now, if you're going to talk about learning jazz improvisation, you really do need to have certain fundamentals. So I would say you need to know your chords. You need to know what a major chord is, right? So you need to know this is a C major. This is a D minor. Okay, these are things you need to know. So to start off, the 2-5-1 in the key of C major would be a D minor 7 chord, which is a D minor with the 7th added to it. It's then followed by a G 7th chord, which is a G dominant 7th, right? G, B, D, F. And then a C major 7th chord, which is C, E, G, B. So just start with that. Start with one key. And I know another thing that people hear is that, oh, you've got to be able to play in every key. And you do. Yes, of course. You need to be able to improvise in all keys. And the way jazz songs are structured is they have changes in many different keys within one tune. But you have to isolate, right? So what I want you to do to start off, isolate. Okay, what we're going to do right now is isolate a 2-5-1 in the key of C. Okay, so just a D minor 7, as I described before, followed by a G7, followed by a C major 7th. Okay, start with that, and you just practice playing those 3 chords in sequence because they're so common. It's such a common progression. Now, another inversion, actually, of the dominant 7th chord, okay, should come into play here. So I'll start with this D minor 7th chord, but for the dominant 7th, the G 7th, I'm going to play in this position. Because everything is closer, right? And I'm saying everything has to be closer all the time, but it's easier and it just has a certain sound to it. And I'm going to show you how we can take notes out of these chords to give you a slightly different sound as well. Right? For example, what jazz players often do, instead of playing D, F, A, and C, we'll just play D, F, C. Alright, gives it a different sound. Take the G out as well of the dominant G 7th, and I took the G out of the C major 7th as well. Right, that gives me a thinner and a different sound. Okay, so now with the 2-5-1 that I'm focusing on here, we're playing 2 beats on the 2 beats on the 5, 4 beats on the 1. So 2 beats on the 2 chord, 2 beats on the 5 chord, 4 beats on the 1. So it's 2 measures. Okay, this 2-5-1 takes 2 measures, right? 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the best way to start, and I know people are going to tell you about 1,000 different scales and all that stuff is great, but to start off, I have 4 basic licks that you can start with for practicing on this 2-5-1. And the first one, and I'll play it without the left hand at first so you can just see how it goes. The first one is, and all that is an arpeggio. So it's simply outlining the notes of the chords, which is actually good because by doing that, it's really helping you get the chord progression, right? So that's my first lick. The second one, which is based on the same chords, is it's the second one. And I'll turn this volume up a little bit. The third one is right, similar to the second one, but I go upward. Right, similar. And then the fourth one, right, which is arguably the most challenging one because of the timing, right? And I'm going to play that again. Right, so you hear that little break, there's a little eighth note rest in there. Okay, so you can practice playing these 4 licks on the 2-5-1 in C. And actually, in the description of this video, I will provide a link where you can actually get a copy of this. It will be a digital copy. A page will appear where you can enter your email address, and I will then give you access to a page where you will be able to actually, it's a self-playing digital sheet that you can actually play to hear how it sounds, but you'll also be able to print and download a copy as well. And it will have these 4 licks available to you. And the other thing now is to take that and to play it with the left hand part.